Okay, so I'm starting here a new project and I'm going to go here to units so we both know what units I'm working with. And so right now it's in millimeters, but I'm going to change it to inches because that's kind of what I'm used to working with. And so I'll do that here, but it doesn't really matter what units you're using or you're working with. It should be, as long as you know what size you want things to be, you should be able to work things out. So let's go here and let's start with a vector grid and let's use a square grid. And so what we want to do is create an architectural trellis, but we want to use this grid as our base starting off point for where we're going to be arraying the columns for the grid, for the trellis. So let's go here to extents. Let's go extents 3 and 3. So we'll make this a fairly small one for now so we can later on come and make it a little bit more complex, and it'll be easier for us to do all of these steps if we don't have too many things that we have to worry about. Now let's go to size. I'm going to make it 15 feet in between, so I'm going to go to a slider of 15, but since this is 15 inches, I want it to be 15 feet. I can also come here, double click and do times 12, so I'm converting 15 feet times 12, and that will give me the inches, 180 inches, that I can plug that into the size. Into the size here, and so there we've created a grid that is a 15 foot by 15 foot, and we have the extents of 3. We could also change that around, so I'll go ahead and slide down, hit Alt, and make a copy, and we can also change the extents on the X and Y direction. So we'll have the ability to adjust the trellis in 2 dimensions. So let's move forward and start creating the columns that are going to be actually put throughout all of these points. It's also important that we come here and start labeling things. So I go here to a panel, or you can double click here and go to panel and bring one in. And what that'll do is allow us to write some text here, and we can label all of these different sliders and components. And that way we can, when we come back, we can look at that bright yellow panel and we can see that that's probably a slider that we could change. So for this, we'll do the spacing. And I kind of shrink it down a little bit so it doesn't take up too much space. And then here I'll drag down and hold Alt to make a copy, and I'll make this one extents. So now we can actually move on and create the columns.